All right, and this is what happens when you get too much charge or too much leakage. You get a world of illumination. You get an illusionary world. This is not what this place really looks like. We're in a hologram. Okay, understand that the sun right now is working on its secondary form. Okay, so the veil is being lifted. The veil is being lifted. The world of illumination is being lifted. Okay, you get the UV, you get the purple haze, you get the UV lights, you get the UV waves, and you can create a dream world.
Among other names, the demiurge or the ruler created a fake reality by making a sort of bad copy of the original reality. Now, we're back here to the ancient modern correlation, because I'm saying what they were describing in their own language and their own symbolism from long ago as we perceive time, another illusion, is actually they're describing the creation of the simulation. And it is my view that the Lord, God, and the Gnostics who were responsible for these Nag Hammadi texts, the Gnostic belief system, they describe the main manifestation of this force as the Lord Archon or Demiurge. What's being described in Genesis is not the creation of the world, but the creation of the simulation. And the bloodthirsty God of the Old Testament, I say, is this archontic force. And the Gnostics described how, in very similar terms, although from another angle, as the Bible talks about how the sons of God, actually the sons of the gods in the original text, interbred with the daughters of men and basically changed the human race. What the Gnostics do is talk about basically the same thing in the Nag Hammadi texts, but they talk about the infusion as a result of this of what they call the counterfeit spirit. The counterfeit spirit is, for me, an expression of this distortion. And the common theme through the ages of some force of good and some force of what people call evil battling for supremacy. When people talk about they have a dark side, I say that's this counterfeit spirit. And the Native Americans have this concept of two wolves inside people. One is goodness and empathy and compassion. One is evil, violence, hatred. And they say, which wolf wins? The one you feed the most. And of course, we have a society in this fake reality specifically designed to make us feed the counterfeit spirit, which is this archontic distortion, as I call it, influencing human behavior and human perception. And it's a frequency band. It has to be, because it's a manifestation of the archontic frequency band. What did the Gnostics say? The counterfeit spirit hardened the hearts of humanity. Exactly what it was designed to do. This is our connection to infinite awareness. They want us here, and here, in the belly, emotion, low vibrational. They don't want us here. It's all systematic.
Was found on the central axis of the pyramid that archaeologists call the King's Chamber.
Wire coils are used in conjunction with a magnet to produce powerful electromagnetism. The more turns of the wire, the stronger the magnetic field. Coils generate vortexes, which in turn create an electromagnetic field. It's all one interconnected system.
Who's to say there is an edge? Most people's first reaction to flat Earth is that there must be an edge. But is that because of how it is presented to us? On the current flat Earth model, there is no edge, but rather a 360-degree wall of ice surrounding Earth, holding the oceans in. Again, no one is 100% certain that this ice wall exists, because for more than 50 years, there has existed an international Antarctic treaty stating that no civilian can travel there without government approval. There are pre-approved guide tours that exist, but they only go to coastal regions. Jarl Antor was arrested and fined when he traveled to Antarctica without permission. We do have many pictures of the ice wall, but due to the treaty, we are restricted from going down there.
The waters above, and we live within the firmament. Everything is within the firmament. There's nothing beyond it. So, when you hear from NASA, the History Channel, the school books, everything beyond the firmament, as far as planets and galaxies and universes, they don't exist. It's emptiness. All you get is heaven, the water, and the heavens above. So all we have within the firmament are the sun, the moon, and stars. And if there are any planets, they're going to be within the firmament. There's nothing, again, beyond the firmament. That's simple. So, the bottom line is people say, well, I seen a planet through my telescope. What you're really looking at is one of these stars within the firmament. Because, again, there's nothing beyond this firmament that you can see. It's an illusion. Science is telling you, when you look at a star in the sky, and it might be different than the other stars, oh, that's an actual planet, when it's not. It's that simple. Now, to explain these fake images NASA gives us, understand one simple thing. The reason this is obviously fake, for the simple fact, they can't go beyond the firmament to take a full picture of the world we live in. It's that simple. So that's why we get these fake renderings of Earth. That's why we get these fake renderings of Pluto. Now, again, I've covered this before, just saying it again, about the two great lights mentioned in Genesis. Okay, again, the moon during the day, this should be fully illuminated. A full moon should be partially lit. Again, with the moon at night, you see the moon in the clouds. Okay, it's not 238,000 miles away. It's more like 3,000 miles away. You see the clouds in front of the moon and behind the moon. It's very simple. Your eyes don't deceive you. NASA does. Now, with this picture here, not this picture, but this photo of the moon at night, you'll see the angle of the moon. If the sun is supposedly giving the moon its light at night, this angle makes absolutely no sense. Okay, it should be coming from a lower position. And anyways, you do not see, again, light reflecting off the moon. You don't see that because, again, like the Bible says, the moon is a lesser light at night. More imagery here. Now, this is an image provided by NASA. Okay? This is from 1990 with the probe Galileo. This is a complete joke. If you believe this, you're completely deceived. This is nothing more than a painting. You want to believe this is real, that's fine. The truth doesn't care what you think. Nothing more than a painting. Same thing here. Nothing more than a composite fakery. Same thing with this latest image. Again, I want to sound like a broken record. It's been 43 years. Supposedly says the first image of the ball Earth. 43 years. So $1 trillion spent on NASA. And this is the first photo, supposedly, we get in all this time. Now, here's some imagery of NASA's fakery. A close-up of some of the composite images of Earth they have on their website. You can look this up. I'm not the only one that covered this in my videos. Other people have as well. You see the duplicates? Basically, duality. In the world of duality, nothing is as it seems. Everything you believe, everything you've been told by the liars that own and control this world is a lie. You don't have to accept it, but that is reality.
There are not many materials that reflect, scatter, refract, or redirect X-rays. And while I'm not strictly saying that X-rays are the cause, any form of strong radiation beams would behave similarly. There do exist some materials that can reflect high energy rays, and it was a man named Lawrence Bragg in 1913 that discovered that crystalline structures reflect X-rays. That's right, crystalline structures, a crystalline firmament. Bragg reflection is used, for example, to focus monochromatic light, and there is a device called a monochromator that uses curved crystal mirrors to reflect X-rays to focus monochromatic light. Standard monochromators use a prism to break down the light. This is a very familiar image, and Wikipedia displays it for everyone to see. It is now associated with an infamous music album. What is the title of that album? They are telling us. This means we're right on track. Radiation beams reflected off of the crystal firmament would likely be redirected down, off-center, and into the ionosphere above our heads. The same ionosphere in which the ethereal electromagnetic energy was harvested from. It is here that the beams will converge and concentrate and generate the plasma phenomenon we call the moon. The idea of electromagnetic rays reflecting from the firmament and converging in the ionosphere may seem preposterous, but there are many homemade experiments you can conduct yourself to prove the power of concentrating light rays. As seen here, the rays of the sun reflected in the concave mirror are able to produce intense heat and start a fire. The reflected light rays focus into a point to generate energy. And remember, radiation beams akin to X-rays are much more powerful than light rays. If the moon is a point of focused, condensed plasma, then it has to occur within one of the layers in the ionosphere above us. All the various inert noble gases in our ionosphere appear at differing layers and altitudes. We looked at how these are charged by the sun's electromagnetism to form the plasma sky. At a certain altitude in the ionosphere, there are two layers of neon and helium gas. It is likely that the sun forms in a similar fashion within these layers. After all, helium is linguistically very similar to Helios. It is likely, however, that the moon is formed at the level of altitude in which the gas krypton is present. Krypton is known for its phosphorescent white light. It is also used to create non-thermal or cold plasma, as demonstrated by contemporary scientists developing this field today. The primary reason that the moon's light is cold and not hot like the sun's is not known, but it is likely due to a polarity produced by their interaction with our electromagnetic field in the ionosphere, the moon being the dielectric negative polarity to the sun's positive charge. The craters seen on the moon are likely from the generation of this plasma. Perhaps it is some kind of plasma emulsion that displays a kind of outgassing or bubbling, much like we see with urethane paint defects. Recently, bizarre theories have emerged that we live within one of these craters on the moon. This is not correct. The moon is some kind of phosphorescent, concentrated plasma and not a solid object. You can see the formation of this plasma and its craters right here. It is not solid, it is a light. And this is great because we have a very realistic and working model as to how the moon is formed. What we don't have, however, is an explanation as to how the composite image on its face is formed. As I said before, the image we are seeing on the moon is akin to a composite X-ray photograph of our greater realm. And it is not an active reflection, but rather a historical moment captured in time. And of course, no one knows how it is formed other than those in high places. The moon is a paradoxical phenomenon, at once a volatile luminary of plasma that waxes and wanes in its luminosity, and also a steadfast image captured at some point in time that does not seem to change. We only ever see this image on the moon, and it never changes. This strange and mysterious image that has puzzled and inspired millions could be a result of a natural, organic phenomenon, or perhaps even artificial. Again, only the controllers know. The word photo originates from the Greek photos. It means light. Hence we have words such as photosynthesis,